Hello there, Owen O'Leary here from the Tuition Centre. I'm just going to go through my predictions for Leaving Cert Higher Level Maths 2022 and the exam strategy tips for students who at this time of the year can find themselves to be a bit nervous and a bit unsure of what they should do. So hopefully we all are aware at this stage of the accommodations. So there are 6 shorter questions, section A, concepts and skills. From those 6, you must answer any 4, each one being worth 30 marks, a total of 120 marks. In section B, context and applications, there are 4 questions. You must answer any 2, and they're 50 marks each, so 100 marks in total. And when it says answer any 4 or answer any 2, if you answer more than the minimum, you're going to be graded on your best ones. And that's very important that everyone's clear on that. It's your best 4 short questions, your best 2 long questions. Okay. You'll note there it says answer in blue or black pen only, and you may use pencils and graphs and diagrams and keep your answers within the box. Okay, the timing, and it is an if you were to just do the minimum, which is the 4 questions from section A and the 2 questions from section B, then you could spend 18 minutes per short question and 34 minutes on each long question. And you would still have 10 minutes to spare at the beginning and the end, 5 minutes to start, 5 minutes at the end to read the paper and then check your answers. However, the reality is the vast majority of students will have no problem getting the minimum done, and you will have some time left over to attempt to do perhaps an extra short question or maybe even more. I think this first point I'm going to make about exam technique is important. In my opinion, when the exam starts, I do not suggest that you read the whole paper. There are 10 questions, 4 long questions. I feel a student could get overwhelmed trying to read through all of those. There are going to be some short questions that you recognize and that you like. Find 1 or 2 of them, do them at the start, then take a little breather and have a look through the rest. At that stage, right, say you've done 2 short questions, I think you should look through the rest of the short questions, pick the remaining 2 best ones, so complete a total of 4 short questions at this point, leaving for now the 2 that you feel least confident about. So you'll have done 4 short questions and you'll have 2 short questions, unattempted at this point. And that's totally fine. You have done your minimum. At that stage, I would say look through the 4 long questions carefully. Spend time doing this. This is a key moment again. Spend time looking at the 4 long questions and pick the 2 that you're best at. Complete the 2 long questions at that point. Okay, so your best 2 long questions, again, leaving 2 blank. The chances are that at this moment in time, after finishing the minimum 4 short questions, 2 long questions, you will have time left over. Do not leave early. Ignore students who do leave early. Stay in the exam until the end. In the questions you do try, right? Don't leave anything blank. So if you have attempted the long questions, but you've kind of, you've ran out of steam halfway, try and get something down for each one. If you don't know what to do, do what you know. Just try and do 1 step that looks like it might be right. And if you haven't got a clue, try something. There's no marks for blanks. There's no way you can be given any marks. At that moment in time, you've done your 4 short questions, your 2 long questions. My general advice then will be to consider doing 1 extra short question if you feel you may score better in it than the other short questions you've completed. There's no point in doing it if you feel you've done 4 good questions and you don't like the look of the other 2 at all, But most people will get to that stage where they might have 5 short questions done, 2 long questions. I would certainly say at that stage, go back through the questions you've completed, particularly the 2 long questions. Check to see that you've answered the question asked, have the correct unit given. Is it meters? Is it meters cubed? Is it meters squared? Is it centimeters? Is it hours? Is it minutes? Is it seconds? Check your rounding. that could be vital, that could make a difference in your grade this year. Some students will have time remaining at that stage, and sure, if you have time remaining, you've checked everything, can you do an extra long question? Why not? Absolutely. If you have the time, don't leave early, and there's no point sitting there twiddling your thumbs. Okay, predictions. I'm going to give you my main predictions for paper 1 and my main predictions for paper 2. Okay. Remember, these are predictions only. I don't know for sure what's coming up in the exam, and just because in the past maybe the predictions have come up does not mean that they're going to come up this year. So I teach the students, my own students, the whole course, and I suggest that everyone revises it all. Having said that, I think predictions are worthwhile because it helps students to focus in on something. It helps students to focus in on something and to practice some things, and it gets away from the idea of like, wow, the course is so large, I don't know where to start. Each night on the 21-day challenge on the tuitioncenter.ie, we pick a topic and we practice the questions which I think are most likely to come up. So you're still welcome to join the 21-day challenge. So the 4 top predictions I would give for paper 1 are simultaneous equations, either 3 equations with 3 unknowns, or 1 linear and 1 non-linear. So simultaneous equations to come up somewhere in the paper. If something happens, they don't show up in paper 1, be ready for them in paper 2. Financial maths, some people are unsure on whether financial maths will come up this year. Of course, I understand it doesn't come up every year, but I do feel it will come up this year. That would be my suggestion. The cos 3 theta is equal to 4 cos cubed theta minus 3 cos theta. I'm going to say our sine equivalent, sine 3 theta equivalent. Okay. So, right, that, that's in complex numbers. Of course, that's a very particular prediction. It has not come up since Project Maths has been brought in. However, I feel, given the fact that there's a number of things in there, for example, binomial expansion, a trig identity, I think it could be an ideal question this year. And the area question in integration, so it could be the area between 2 curves, the trapezoidal rule, the area under your curve, everything to do with area when it comes to integration. Lots of students want to leave something out this year. Some teachers say to students, no, cover everything. I can understand why. As I said, I do teach everything to my students and advise them to revise everything. However, there's a caveat, and it's this, that if a student says to me that they don't like a certain topic, okay, if they say they don't like a certain topic, well, I would suggest that there's a very low chance they're going to do it in the exam, even if it comes up, because they're going to do the other ones, the ones they do like. So what could you get away without studying? Again, we talk a bit more about this in the 21-day challenge, but my opinion is that students are unlikely to do questions in the exam if they don't like them. If you're going to take a chance on not studying some parts, I would advise the following, unless you're going for H1. If you're going for H1, you better know everything. In paper 1, the top one I would suggest is induction. My own feeling is induction is not that likely to come up this year, and a lot of students find it difficult. So if it's not very likely to come up and you find it difficult, I don't think it's that likely you're going to do it in the exam. So you could take a chance and not study it. Top predictions for paper 2. I certainly think there's going to be an inferential statistics long question. I would advise all students to prepare for that. I think there will be a 3-dimensional question in trigonometry. I feel that there's much more likely that there'll be a construction rather than a theorem. The construction could be one of the 4 triangle centers to draw, or it could be mixed in with coordinate geometry as it was in 2016 and 2017. A probability came up worth an awful lot of marks last year. I don't think it'll be worth as many marks this year. However, I do think a tree diagram question could come up in probability. What could you leave out? I would say, again, same advice, that if you don't like it, are you really going to do it in the exam? And for a lot of people, I would say that theorems, would fall into that category. There's only 3 of them there, the geometric theorems, 11, 12, and 13. Last year, I predicted theorem 13 would come up, and it did, thankfully. This year, I feel there's a good chance there mightn't be any theorem, but even if one comes up, you can avoid it. So if you don't like the theorems, I think you'll get away without it. So best luck to all of the students doing Leaving Cert higher level this year. Remember, inside the exam, if you don't know what to do what you know, get something down for each question, keep writing, don't leave the exam early, and you're going to get there. Okay, guys, good luck to you.